Because I think you already spoke about this, considering the resources required to have or to hire a business development consultant, at what stage would you say you know, a business is ripe for one?
Okay, so it's a different kind of question, actually, even though it sounds as if it might be similar. I've spoken about it. It's actually from the very beginning. Most people come to us as business consultants when they have a problem. So they've already gone, made mistakes, reinvented the wheel and fallen in the pothole, that sort of thing. And you need to come and do damage control and repairs. But you can be much better prepared for your entrepreneurial journey and for your journey as a business person if you have this business development consultant ahead of time. So what do we do at the beginning? The first one is we help you with your vision, particularly because all of us SMEs, our vision is here, right here in our head, mentally. We're not really able to tell everybody about it. But when it's articulated, then your staff know what the vision is. They know why they're working, what they're working for, why they're important to that business. So vision, mission, and core values. Values. Really important in this environment that we're in. That then leads to things like your operational structure, which I spoke about before.
Yes,
so that organogram, who reports to who, when, and how. There are a lot of people are in jobs where they don't know who their direct report is. They are not sure what their responsibilities are, job descriptions. Is when Madam or Oga tells me to go out and do something, that's when I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Whereas every staff, even if you're a cleaner, must know that when you report for work in the morning, this is your schedule. This is what is expected of you. Then compensation plan. That's another thing. We deal with salaries on a day-to-day basis. So when I'm thinking, yes, I need to hire a driver, it's at that point I'm thinking, how much do I pay this driver? Supposing I have another driver, he's been with me from the beginning of my business 5 years ago, and I was paying him 20,000. Nothing like, because there's no organ, no gram, no organizational structure, no promotion for this driver, right? So the driver has been earning his 20,000 for 5 years. Now I need a pool driver because now my staff have grown from 2 to 5, and there are 2 salespeople there who need to go around town, right?
Yeah.
Now we want to hire a driver 5 years later, and I can't get a driver for less than 30,000. Okay, we have no choice, so the least we can find out, let us hire him for 30,000. You forget about the guy who's inside there at 20. Resentment begins to build within the company as each new hire comes on at these new market prices or payments for service. It causes disaffection within the company. It causes your company to be a bit lopsided. So when you have a compensation plan from the beginning, you know at what point you do your, every year you should do a performance review of that person. You know when you should promote them. You know how much by. You know what kind of inflationary allowance you need to give from year to year so that you don't find yourself in that horrible, absolutely terrible place when you're trying to hire new people. And then we go from there to strategic plan, business plans, and that's for development and funding. So you have a roadmap for where you're going over the next, whatever you choose, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, Older companies tend to do 10 years, 7 years. And then, basically you have the framework on which to, almost like the foundation of a house, on which to now launch yourself.
So that means that you have to even if when you're not there yet, you have to build a structure that can hold what you want to.
Well, I like that phrase, when you're not there yet. I hear it from a lot of entrepreneurs. But you're there, you have a business. Where are you going again? You're already there. You've set up the business. People seem to think it's when I made 20 million, then I'm there. It's when I've made 40. It's when my business has moved from Lagos to... No. What you need to understand is that you're already at that bus stop, right? So these things become absolutely essential as you kick off. And what it does is that it facilitates, I can tell you, that over the last 23 years, those entrepreneurs that came at the beginning and had these things done or did these things moved at a much more accelerated rate than those that didn't. Those that didn't were limited by the fact that they hadn't done these things. Right?
Yes,
So it almost becomes like a repair job. So have you seen those houses where, thank God, the house has not yet fallen down, but the foundation is to actually get down there and repair it is difficult. So sometimes you have to mow down the house or the building to do the foundation. Other times you spend a lot more money to repair that for it to stand strong. So my advice to everyone out there who's watching and listening, please, please, please build the foundation of your business. You're there. Once you decided to go into business and you started, you're there.
Okay. What should a business owner take into consideration when hiring a business development consultant?
Okay, so this is the one that I mentioned already, but I'll mention it in slightly more detail. One is competence. Is the person competent to do the work? You know, you want a carpenter, be sure he's a carpenter. I remember a friend a few years ago, she ran a tailoring business.
Okay.
And some real high-class women, 3 of them, brought some really expensive material they bought from, I don't know whether it was Italy or France, picked some beautiful designs. And she had just gotten these 2 tailors, one from Ghana, one from Togo, I think. They were from other West African countries. The way they hacked this material, she told me that they were definitely not tailors, they were carpenters. TOKI, I hired carpenters. So you need to be able to determine their competence. So you're looking at training, certification, right? To capacity. So their capacity to work. So there are some things you might ask a consultant to do for you that's a one-man, one-woman job. It's a one individual job. There might be other things they need to do for you that they should at least have an assistant. So that your business is not held up, waiting for when that person is available. There are other people working on your matter so that it gets solved faster, So capacity to do the work. Track record. Where have they worked before? Who have they worked for? Or you need 3, to look at. And then references. So you can decide what you want your references to be. Right? It can be academic reference, it can be family reference, it can be work reference, etc. But references. So people are ready to say, you know what, I know this person, I know they can do the work.
Okay.
So, and we should do it for all service providers. So whether it's your business development consultant, your financial analyst, your lawyer, whoever is working with you on your business, please check those things.
Okay. What mistakes do business owners make when hiring business development consultants?
Okay, so some I mentioned before. I had mentioned 2. I had one that they feel there's one solution. So, what would be an example? So I had I have lots of examples. I want to pick a very quick one. Yes, where I had some clients who came, and what was happening was they always have this buildup of debt because they're very empathic, soft-hearted artists. And at that point in time, they had 3-point-something million outside, people owing. Yeah. So they felt that there was something wrong with the way that they collect money. And so they wanted me to come in and look at their accounts department and all that, and look at how can they better collect their debt. So I came in and I said, you know what, tell me about your business, what you've been doing and how you've been doing. And they told me all these things. And I realized that the pileup of debt was just a very small part of a bigger problem. It was a symptom of a larger problem, right? First, they had staff who were wrongly fitted, so they were not in the right jobs.
Right, yeah.
Right. Secondly, their structure, their organization structure, was never set. It's like, okay, you will be doing this, you'll be doing that, but in 6 months' time, you may be doing something else. Somebody else is doing this and all that. So we don't have a structure. And then there was the fact that they didn't have a plan at all, not even an action plan. So I just said, you know what, we have to go back to the beginning, right? You guys have achieved so much in over 10 years. What's your vision? Where are you going? You don't want to be confused all the time. Let's go this way. No, let's try this. No, let's try. Advertising is working out. People are making money in advertising. Let's go here. No, tourism is the answer. Let's go here. You keep changing direction. And so in that case, we went straight back to the beginning. Vision, mission, core values, structure, that's organizational structure, job description from everybody, where we now shuffled everybody around. And in doing that, we did some personality typing of the staff they had. Because they had good staff. They did not have any complaints about their staff. They liked them. And the staff liked the organs liked the staff, right? But they were wrongly fitted. And so the person at accounts department wasn't even an accountant, just somebody who was good with numbers. Right? A lot of SMEs do that.
Okay.
Somebody who's good with numbers, just keep this right, just write here, add, let it be correct, She actually had this absolutely, some people just have certain endearments given to them by God. She had this very wonderful way of interacting with people. This woman should be in front desk where we can, right? If you still want her to do administrative work, put a computer at that front desk so that she's. But the lady said in her family, if anybody is owing anybody money, she's the person they send. That she has an absolute knack. And I thought, wow, okay, why don't you try her before we look for her? And they said, okay, do you know that 3-point-something million? She brought it in a month.
Wow. She
was diligent. She was committed. She brought, so, just to say that, you go back to setting all these things in place. Of course, they then had to hire a proper accounts clerk for their accounts department. And please don't get me wrong, everyone. Doesn't mean you have to go out and spend a whole lot of money. You still roll out your staffing in accordance with your money-making cycle, your operation cycle. So as you are able to, you begin to fill those positions that are critical for your operation to keep running. Anyway, the end of my story is that year they won 2 awards. The following year, they won another 3.
Wow.
And from their strategic plan, it began to accelerated growth. They rolled out. I was so proud of them, and they've done so well. They're still doing extremely well, because of it. So that's just the example around, where it's not one solution. It's a process. You're going to find yourself doing many different things. I know as you begin to correct some things, other things show up. Other gaps come up. You must be ready to deal with them. And then finally, please, owners need to take ownership of the process. A lot of people call it consultant. It's the consultant's work. Consultant do the work. Consultant writes a report. The report goes on the table, on the bookshelf. It's a consultant, and nothing ever gets done. So the taking ownership of the process, being a part of that process, helps you as a business owner to take ownership and show commitment, which shows the way to your staff as well, because staff tend to do what they see. They tend to copy what they see. Their organs are actually their role models, so yeah.
Okay, so my next question is, what would you say are the 3 most important things every business needs for growth?
Okay, can I make it 5?
Okay.
One, and I will say it over and over and over again, hire the right talent. You really need to have people who know what they are doing. You can also grow talent. So when you first hire the right talent for your most critical positions in the company, Then for those that will be up and coming, look for the right competencies and the right attitude, and then skill them up to be able to grow into certain positions. So that's one. Two, absolutely make sure that your business is technology driven. Because with technology, you have efficient. Look at two of us, 8 years down the line. Is it not technology?
Yes, ma.
I remember COVID. I said, oh, well, IME is going to save me from. And then my friends were like, Toki, what are you doing? I could not get tomato. They're telling me that mile 2 or mile 12, they're moving around. How do I get them to go to? I said, I don't have any problem. If I want Gary, I have it. So my husband also said, his friends would say, Shem, how are you coping? You and your wife. I hope you haven't resorted to, just eating anything. He said, no, my meals haven't changed. I don't know how my wife does it. She has one fantastic lady who just delivers what she needs. So technology really is a big thing. Even for me as a business development consultant, all my clients went online. I was doing my clinics online. In fact, I was dealing with more people online than I was when I was physical. Because with physical, I couldn't be in the office all the time. I had to run around for meetings and things. So I did a lot more work. So please be technology driven so you can be operationally efficient. Be knowledgeable. Be knowledgeable about your industry, please. I have had these young men and women who enter into businesses that they don't know much about. So I remember meeting this particular young lady who makes slippers. Absolutely beautiful slippers. So I wanted one of those. I said, when I meet people, I want to patronize them. I said, let me patronize Nigerians. So she said, please, ma, what's your size? So I said to her, you know what? I'm not very familiar with continental sizes. I'm more used to UK sizes. So I'm a UK 5. What's that? UK, British shoe size 5. I said, no, there's nothing like that. So.
Oh my goodness.
I said, madam, there's nothing like that. Okay. You make slippers and you don't know that there are various measurements around the world. There's continental, there's US, there's UK. She said, really? No, what I do when I make the shoe now, people put their leg. The one that I said, that's bend down markets. When you put leg first to know which one is your size. No. There's a lot you need to learn. So there are people who go into businesses. I have food allergies. One of the biggest problems I have here in Lagos is that people are cooking for events and they don't know anything about health and people's allergies. What people cannot eat. So I'll go up maybe to the table and say to can I talk to the caterer, please? Madam comes up. I'm like, madam, I have this allergies. Do you by any chance still have maybe in a cooler or something where you have not cross-contaminated the food? Just serve me this and this alone. This is what I don't like about you guys. You won't even go and sit down, be attended to by waiter. You're coming to stand here and give me come. I'm like, okay, she doesn't know anything about food. And I just go and sit down. But it happens 9 times out of 10. People are doing businesses that they don't know anything about. So please be knowledgeable about your industry. Learn as much as you can about access to finance. Because people then want to go to a microfinance bank, bank of industry, their commercial bank, even grants to get money, but they don't have any of the records and none of the documentation that's required. So for example, they want to see your 3 years audited accounts. They've never audited accounts and they want access to finance. So it's important. And then make sure that there's a market, because we also are driven by our passions. So we're if I'm a manufacturer, the cake that I make are wonderful. And what distinguishes me from the others is that my own is made from cassava. There's nobody in this Lagos that makes cake from cassava. It's delicious. Madam, how do you know it's delicious? My whole family has told me it's delicious. What else would they tell you? Be sure you have a market for what you want to sell. We're all driven by the pride of being a producer or a manufacturer of something. And because we made it, it's the best.
True.
Right. So, yeah, those are the things I would say. Those are the 5 things.
Okay. So